First question. As a board member, you'll be responsible for making decisions that align the transit authority's actions with the city's broader goals, such as economic development, climate resilience, housing and equity. You know what? Give me one moment, Stephanie. Luckily, Stephanie doesn't start until the 3 minutes. I believe this is, number 4 was the question that I asked yesterday. It is. This is the 4 I asked yesterday, so I'm getting ready to change.
Okay, cool.
Because we're
Yeah, you
making
had
sure that
three-
we
three
ask
and
different
four
questions to
yesterday, yes.
respect everyone.
You had 3 and 4 yesterday.
Yes.
That is correct.
Change
Yeah.
that to number 2
Okay.
for me.
Got it.
Ed, change it to number 2.
Got it.
My apologies. Skip, cross all that out your head. The Transit Authority Board will oversee billions in public spending. How would you identify and handle a potential conflict of interest, whether real or perceived?
Thank you for that question, Ms. Mayfield. So first and foremost, I would work with the compliance office and I would work with your legal counsel. I would ensure that there is no conflict that exists. It would be, I would imagine, an exhaustive search to ensure that is the case. And if indeed a conflict did exist, I would recuse myself. And as you all know, we will have alternates that will serve, so an alternate would serve in my stead.
Thank you very much for that response. My second question for you will be, please describe how you intend to mitigate displacement as a member of the authority.
Again, excellent question. There's never any need, Ms. Mayfield, to reinvent the wheel. You all, as you know, Councilman Mitchell, Driggs, and Anderson, and I don't know if you were on city council at that time, but as you are aware, your colleagues took a trip to Austin, Texas. And in Austin, Texas, you did a study about, and you studied how they prevented displacement with their transit, with all things that are rolling out. So there's never any need to reinvent the wheel, especially when we can save the people and taxpayer money. So what I would do, if I am humbled enough to serve on this board, I would look at successful strategies that have been executed by the city of Austin, Texas, and other same-sized cities throughout our nation. I would also, anyone that does not look at their history where they took missteps are bound to repeat it. So I would look at what went wrong with Earl Village. I would look at what went wrong with Brooklyn Village. And I would ensure that we do a robust intentionality attempt and execution of not repeating those mistakes of the past.
Thank you.
Ms. Forrest, right now the next 2 questions from my colleague, Mr. Driggs.
Hello.
Hello.
What do you consider to be the most important measure of success for a transit system?
Thank you for that question, Councilman Driggs. As you know, post-COVID, our ridership has declined tremendously with CATS. So I think when you are measuring success, increased ridership would have to be a component. And unfortunately, we have had a loss of life that has been nationwide publicized. So I think in tandem with increasing ridership, we have to increase safety. We have to minimize, eliminate loss of life, assault, be it fights, be it rape, be it thefts, be it burglaries. So we have to ensure that those 2 very essential components are measuring success. And as a minority, there's no way I could leave this question without also ensuring that we measure equity, that we ensure that the resources, these $30 billion that you so poignantly pointed out, Councilwoman Mayfield, that we ensure that it is an equitable distribution, not just of the resources, but of the infrastructure and how it's rolled out throughout the city, throughout the region, that we ensure that there's an equitable resource in Ballantyne, in Beatties Ford, in West Boulevard, in Huntersville, in Cornelius, in Davison, Matthews, and Mint Hill. Those are measurable items that we can ensure, in closing, increasing our ridership with CATS, decreasing harm of life, assault, battery, as our ridership rides on the transit, and 3, equitable distribution of resources.
Thank you.
Thank you. My other question is, can you explain how you did or did not support the transit sales tax referendum?
Thank you so much, Mr. Driggs. My belief is we can never have a myopic, monolithic view. It's dangerous. We need not look any further than Washington, D.C., where everyone has that same think tank mindset. We have to have a diversity and differencing of opinions. And it must be executed in an intelligent manner. Knowing what I've seen since 1997 in Charlotte with Earl Village, knowing what I heard when I came here, active in community activism, I saw how things were not beneficial to minorities and the least of these, and the citizens of Charlotte. So I had grave misgivings of how this would equitably transfer to the execution for the people. We always have to be anchored with the will and what's good and what's right for the people. So I digitally, conversationally raised questions and ensured digitally, conversationally, I disseminated information that expressed my opposition to the tax. And I sit before you because I wish to be on the MPTA for precisely the reasons I opened up. We can ill afford to not have diverse voices and opinions on this board that intelligently, professionally, with courtesy and kindness have discourse, because we need not look any further than Washington to see how dangerous it is when everyone is of the same mindset.
Thank you.
Colette, I have the last question for you. Please describe your experience managing/overseeing work of others.
Thank you so much. I was honored and blessed to be the District Deputy Director for U.S. Senator John Edwards. And one of the things that was our mantra, my mantra, it did not matter who came through the door, who called the office. It did not matter if they voted for Senator Edwards. It did not matter if they're not even a voter and registered. It did not matter if they were Democrat, Republican, unaffiliated, white, black, rich, or poor. It didn't matter if they were a donor child or if they lived in the projects. What mattered was them, A, treated with respect, ensuring that they received truthful and accurate information in a timely manner, and if we did not have the answer, be forthright and let them know, I don't know that yet, but allow me 48 hours to get back with you and give you the answer that you need. And also collaboration. It was not common for us to see passports, to see transportation issues with bus passes to come into our office, and Social Security, Veteran Affairs. So we collaborated and partnered with other federal agencies, other federal offices, from our U.S. Senate to, and at the time we had, I want to think it might have been Richard Burr or Elizabeth Dole. So it wasn't about partisanship. It was and will always be for me about the people, getting the people the resources that they need to solve the problems that they face.
Ms. Forrest, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Our process will move forward on Monday, November 17th. We will make, this work group will make recommendation to council, then council will nominate, and then it is our goal and intention that by November 24th, that we will appoint our 7 to represent us on the Transit Authority. Stay tuned. We hope to see you at the council meeting, and thank you.
Thank you. Are we doing Yes, okay.
So let's get up
Wait,
and shake.
what? It's 5:28.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh, okay.
Juan,
Yes, sir.
thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Sharing your time and talent with us.
Yeah,
We want to make sure this is a conversation.
sure,
So we're going to ask you 5 questions.
sure.
You have 3 minutes to respond to each question.
Yeah,
Stephanie going to be so kind that she will warn you at 30 seconds remaining,
sure.
and so you'll know to kind of wrap it up. Let me introduce some of my colleagues who have joined us. So
Okay.
virtually, we have Councilmember Renee Johnson, District 4.
Oh,
Councilmember Tijuana Brown in District 3.
all right.
Try to leave out nobody.
No.
We have Mayor Pro Tem in District 1, Dante Anderson, and who I call the Fabulous Work Group.
Gotcha.
My team here, representing District 7, Ed Driggs.
Aye.
Representing City Council at Large, LaWanna Mayfield. Okay? So we're going to allow Ms. Mayfield to start off with the first 2 questions, sir.
Sure, go for it.
And I was trying to start right on time at 5:30,
Oh,
but
that's
it's 5:29, since we do have this live. But one, I just want to tell you thank you for offering yourself up to be in consideration for this opportunity to represent the city of Charlotte.
Sure.
But I'm going to jump right in. And if at any time you need us to repeat a question, please don't hesitate to ask.
Sure.
The Transit Authority Board will oversee billions in public spending. How would you identify and handle a potential conflict of interest, whether real or perceived?
Well, I work for a Fortune 500 company, and what's one of the things that we're required to do, we're supposed to disclose conflict of interest, perceived or actual. So I'm very familiar with that. Within my division, we actually have to go a step further, and if we do any trades, because I work for a bank, we have to get permission before we even have the thought of trading. So yes, I'm very familiar with the conflict of interest guidelines, and how would I, just by disclosing and filling out the appropriate documentation and disclosing whatever the council or the committee requires. There's nothing salacious in my background.
Thank you for that response. The second question that I have for you, please describe how you intend to mitigate displacement as a member of the authority.
Ooh, that's a good one. So I have ideas as to how we could do that. However, it's not within my authority to do it, right? So when this was before I got involved in this, so when the corridors of opportunity credits happened, it's my personal opinion that we would have been better served to do things like give individuals grants so they can upgrade their houses, do planning, state planning, so that individuals know so they can create and retain generational wealth, educate our communities as to how, just for the fact that you own the house does not mean that you don't stop paying taxes on it and paying the taxes on it, probate court and all the other stuff. I mean, it sounds very boring, but like I think the money that was spent, if some of it had been used to do that, it would mitigate some of the things that are going to happen when this light rail lines are going to go through. But you're asking me what I could do. Unfortunately, there's very limited what I can do. I can make recommendations, and my recommendations are as follow: create committees or work with nonprofits to ensure that people know their rights. People that are interested in staying in their homes, educate them on state planning, proper state planning. Like if you're an elderly person, have you thought about your health power of attorney, like what you're going to do with your home? Do you want to bequeath it to somebody else? Do you want to sell it and perhaps downsize? And what it means to sell today versus selling when the tracks go down and when the tracks go live. because those are going to be three entirely different price points, and it would make a humongous difference on the windfalls that you would get. So, I mean, those are my recommendations, but I have limited power as to what can be done.
Thank you.
Sure.
Juan, the next two questions will come from Mr. Driggs. Mr. Driggs?
I'll speak up.
All right, here we go.
Sure.
What do you consider to be the most important measure of success for a transit system?
So, access, access, and usually when people think about transit, they only think about trains or buses, right? But there's other, not, Charlotte, it's its own thing. It's not Atlanta, it's not some others, it's not Tennessee, it's not any other place. Charlotte is its own thing. And we have a great opportunity to create, not the city that we want to live in, but the city that our kids and our grandkids are going to live in. And we have an opportunity to rectify the mistakes that we did in the 40s where we have disconnected sidewalks. So remember, in the 40s and the 50s, it was more transit driven, and so we have like instances where we're missing sidewalks. So what does transit look like to me? It's just the opportunity to allow whoever wants to do anything to get from point A to point B, not necessarily be a train or be a bus, but perhaps be a sidewalk or a bike lane, right? Because it looks different for everybody, but not only being able to, if you want to do it by foot or if you want to do it by bike, not just being able to get from point A to point B, but getting from point A to point B safely and feeling that you're going to get there safely. Because today so the last time I met Councilman Driggs, I made a joke about how we were talking about something about walkability, and I made a joke about how when I was a runner, I have a better chance by being ran over by a civilian updating or checking his Instagram status than I did in Afghanistan by the Taliban.
Wow.
Right, and it's I'm not saying this to be an alarmist, but in per capita, I mean, the amount of fatalities that we incur in Afghanistan are minuscule in comparison to the amount of individuals that die pedestrians are killed on a yearly in Charlotte. So what does transit look like to me? It looks like access, but access is not homogeneous. It varies. It varies from person to person because, you know, if you live in Noda, you know, probably for you, transit looks like taking the train. But for me, it might be just being able to walk to the pizza place with my kids and not worrying about somebody running us over.
Thank you. Next question.
Sure.
Can you explain how you did or did not support the transit sales tax referendum?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I told my wife to go vote. My wife was like, she waits until the last minute. I told my friends to vote. I told my community members to vote. I harassed everybody to vote.
So, Juan, I have the last question.
Yes, sir.
And so that question is, please describe please describe your experience managing and overseeing the work of others.
Sure. So I'll give you two examples. One is from a long time ago. So when I was in my 20s, I have more responsibility than most people will have in an entire life. I was responsible for outfitting a company of 120 soldiers to go to Afghanistan.
Wow. Good.
Right? And we needed to move a combination of equipment, soldiers, property, vehicles, weapons. And the funny thing, back then when you went to Afghanistan, you have to have brand new uniforms. And it's not like we were running the gap. It's not like we had an enormous stockpile. So you have to coordinate and make sure that everybody got what they needed. we needed to make sure that they had the weapons that they needed. So that would be one extreme example. But currently, my title is really long. I'm a lead data product integrity specialist. I didn't pick the title. But I have managerial responsibilities without the HR element of it. So I work with teams from across the world in at least 3 different time zones. So I need to be cognizant that my team in the supports IMP, Indian and Pacifics, is going to leave by a certain time. So if I need them to do anything, I need to make sure that I prioritize that and make sure that if I need anything from them, that we have a warm handoff and they can tell me what is it that they have done and what needs to be done while I'm still here. And then we also have assets in the Eastern and in the Midwest. So yeah, I say that I do have some experience working with large institutions. Yeah.
Okay. Juan, thank you for stopping by and sharing your time and talent with us.
Sure.
So our process will continue on. We will make a recommendation on Saturday, the work group, to the full council.
Sure.
And then on Monday, November 17th, we would nominate.
Sure.
And then as I go, by November 24th, we will select the 7 to represent us on the authority. So
Sure.
stay tuned. Hope to see you at the council meeting on Monday.
Sure. I would like to say one thing before I end, and I think this is fitting to the sentiment.
Well, Juan,
Sorry, oh, we're done?
yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And we just try to be fair to all.
Oh, understood.
Okay. Good evening, James. Thank you for joining us and dropping by and sharing your talent and time with us today to talk about the Transit Authority. Let me introduce the people in the room as well as some of our colleagues who have joined us virtually. In District 4, we have Councilmember Renee Johnson. In District 3, we have Councilmember Tijuana Brown. In the room, we have our new city attorney who will join us. We have District 1 Mayor Pro Tem, Ms. Dante Anderson. Now to the work group, the hard-working folks. To my right, we have Councilmember Luana Mayfield at large, and to my left, we have Ed Drigg, District 7. But the most important person in this room is Stephanie Kelly, because, James, you'll have 3 minutes. We're going to ask you 5 questions. You're going to have 3 minutes. At the 30-second mark, Ms. Kelly will give you a warning.
Per
okay?
question.
Per question, okay? Be relaxed. You're among friends here, and we have to be totally consistent. So we have about 3 minutes because the public think you're coming at 6 o'clock. So I don't want your fans, you know, see you coming on early. So, oh no, his interview is at 6
Like,
o'clock.
I missed it.
I missed
That's the
it.
first question.
What I would say is please take your time and use your 3 minutes.
All right, all right,
I would like to give you that feedback.
all right.
3 minutes is a good amount of time.
Okay.
Utilize it if you need to.
Stephanie, I'm so upset that I did not bring my heater.
Right, right.
No, good.
And I'm like you, I keep looking at that clock, but I gotta look at the.
Right,
look
we
at
gotta,
the,
that's it.
Yeah, I gotta look at the,
I was looking at the wrong thing.
James, how was the weather when you was
Oh, it's
coming
nice. It's not like it's been like Monday, Tuesday. Like it's definitely, it's now starting to warm up,
in? Okay.
so.
Sound test. How does it sound? Not yet. We are standing by for audio.
212 single family for sale homes.
I'm gonna need you to actually highlight that because you led that.
But I had to take you with me that night. You remember?
Right, but you led that. So you need to
Ready?
highlight it.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. James, thank you. We apologize. So now we're ready to begin, and I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Mayfield.
Thank you so much for joining us and putting yourself up for this role, and your time will start once you start speaking.
Okay, thank you.
My first question. The Transit Authority Board will oversee billions in public spending. How would you identify and handle a potential conflict of interest, whether real or perceived?
Well, I think for me, how I would identify it, first I would say starting with me. So if I'm blessed and fortunate to be on this board and elected to be on this board, I am a real estate developer. My mission and my purpose for doing what I'm doing is to create an economic mobility through home ownership, through mixed income housing. So there was a project that, for me, that I was personally working on that was something that I was looking for, land, something that I was looking for, or I would even say if it was information that was going to be talked about within the board that I feel like could potentially cause a conflict for my company, Kingdom Development Partners, then I would let the board know that I need to recuse myself from that meeting. I would, let the board know that I would need to recuse myself from any votings of anything going on to that. So I think for me, I take conflict of interest seriously. I'm here, to be grounded in, trust and transparency. But I think even bigger than me and what I'm doing with Kingdom Development Partners is Charlotte is small. And I know a lot of people and I know a lot of developers. So I think the same goes for that too, right? So if there's, information that someone was participating in, right, that I knew, right, and it was a vote that I could vote on, I would want to recuse myself. I want to be very transparent. I want to be very upfront. And I know this potential partner, potential friend, and I would like to recuse myself because I mean, that's part of why we're here today, right? We have to gain public trust, I think, and confidence, right? And we have to be very transparent and open about, for me, things that I'm working on, right? That could potentially be a conflict, and even people that I may know.
Thank you. My second question for you. Please describe how you intend to mitigate displacement as a member of the authority.
Well, that's huge for me. So a little bit about me. I develop and create mixed income for housing for sale. And I have a nonprofit that I started, right? And one of our focal points is not just educating people on becoming homeowners, but we have a pillar that we want to make sure that we don't make sure that anyone in our communities that's 80% AMI does not get displaced. So for us, we have a tax grant program, right, that we offer our residents so they won't get displaced. But think about this, right? So I think for me, I think we have to have partnerships. I think we have to have policy. And quite frankly, we need to have some money set aside, right, to make sure that, because it's we've seen what happened in South End, right? And we've seen how the economic mobility and how the real estate value went up drastically in South End. So we know what's going to happen in these future corridors. So I think what we need to do is we need to be intentional about making sure that not only that future developers that come into these corridors, right, are making sure that the renters that live in these corridors don't get displaced, right, and they have an opportunity to come back and be a part of future developments, right? But my bread and butter and my passion is home ownership, right? So one of the things I think that we need to make sure is that the actual residents that's already living in these communities, that actually already own a home in these communities, when we know the value is going to go up in these communities, we need to make sure that we have some policies in place, some money set aside, that if someone in those areas who want to continue to live in those areas, right, will not lose their home because their taxes went up because of what's going to happen with this growth.
Thank you, Councilman Mayfield. James, the next two questions will be from Councilmember George.
Hello. What do you consider to be the most important measure of success for a transit system?
Well, I think where we are now, I think making sure we have public confidence, definitely public safety. For me, and one of the reasons why I'm here today is because I truly believe that we got to have economic mobility, and for all, right? Not just for the business owners, not just for the developers, right? But for the people who's living in these communities anywhere in that 3 to 5 mile radius, right? So we need to have economic mobility. We need to be intentional, right? So inclusion, right? So when I hear about the individuals who was wondering what this is going to do for them, and I'm paying $240 extra a year, what is this going to do for me? We have to make sure that we're listening and we're hearing, right? And we have to not only show them what we're going to do to be a blessing to them from this, right? But we can't just talk about it, right? So that's what I would say.
Thank you. Next question. Can you explain how you did or did not support the transit sales tax referendum?
Well, I supported it, but I supported it knowing that we had a lot of work to do. I supported it knowing that we have to make sure that our community does not get displaced. I supported it knowing that those individuals who are wondering what this $240 extra a year is going to do for them, right? Knowing what we have to do, we have to show them and tell them and be a blessing to them and create economic mobility for those persons. So I supported it knowing that we have to make sure that we build back public confidence. Supported it knowing that we have to create trust. So for me, you know, I supported it because Charlotte needs it. I've been here 25 years. I call Charlotte home now. This was important for our future of our city, right? We have an amazing city. I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to call Charlotte home. And, you know, I supported it knowing that it's going to bless the city, right? We need to make sure that we have connectivity, right, to healthcare. We need to have connectivity to jobs. We need to have connectivity to opportunities. But we need to do all of this we're making sure that we're looking out for the whole entire community. Not just the business owners and not just the developers, but the whole community at large.
Thank you.
So James, I'm gonna bring us home. I have the last question. Please describe your experience managing and overseeing the work of others.
I mean, I think in my DNA, I play football, so I'm a team player. I'm a big collaborator, and being a developer, you have to collaborate with all. I collaborate every day with architects. I collaborate with engineers. I collaborate with city council. I collaborate with the neighbors who in any communities that I'm developing. I want to hear from them, right? How can we be a blessing to you? So I think for me, I would say collaboration. I would say I'm a team player, but I listen. And I listen well, and I don't always speak first, but that's how I think I manage. That's how I operate. I'm that way in the boards that I'm on. I'm that way in my own personal business, and I'm like that way in my own personal relationship. So just being a team player, being a collaborator, and definitely being a listener. I think that's huge.
James, thank you, sir, for taking the time to drop by and visit with us. So our process will continue. This work group will make a recommendation to the full council on Saturday. And then on Monday, November 17th, we will start nominating the 7. And it is our goal by November 24th that we will have all 7 appointed to represent us on the authority. So either attend the council meeting or watch us virtually on Monday, okay?
Awesome. All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
We want to shake your hand before you leave, sir.
Thank you.
So Julie, thank you. We'll have 5 questions for you. You have up to 3 minutes per questions to answer. Ms. Stephanie Kelly here is going to give you a warning when 30 seconds are remaining.
My glasses back on.
And so let me introduce some of my colleagues who are also joining us virtual. Councilmember Renee Johnson, District 4. Councilmember Tijuana Brown, District 3. And then here we have our new city attorney.
Nice to meet you.
We have Mayor Pro Tem in District 1, Dante Anderson, your representative.
Yeah.
We have District 7, the guy who never has any competition, Ed Riggs. And then we have to my right, Councilmember LaWanna Mayfield. And Ms. Mayfield is going to lead us off with the first 2 questions.
Okay. And we have a little time, so just take a breath
take a
because we're being respectful of the fact that your start time is 6:30, it's 6:28. We don't want anyone saying, I miss Julie,
Yeah.
and I missed
True.
her questions.
That's true.
I just
So-
wasn't sure how, I couldn't remember how long it used to take me to get here, so I gave myself
Transportation chair. Julie, wasn't you transportation chair? That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Transportation-
that
And I
gives
got
you a
that, Kate.
moment to just relax, because it's a conversation. For joining us and for offering yourself up. The Transit Authority Board will oversee billions in public spending. How would you identify and handle a potential conflict of interest, whether real or perceived?
So if I had a conflict of interest, I would recuse myself. As you know, I'm not working, and I don't have investments in the city, so I don't foresee that as happening, but yes, I would recuse myself.
Thank you. My second question for you will be, please describe how you intend to mitigate displacement as a member of the authority.
So I think that's one of the most important things, and one of the part of one of the reasons why I wanted to join this authority board is because we have layers and layers of transit plans over the years that we made promises to people, and we included them for a while in their voices in the process, and I don't know that that's been the case this time as actively as it should have been, and that's important to me. As you know, it's very tricky, but I've also sat on boards where there's some very strong powers that will just keep moving ahead. And so I think it's really important to be able to speak out and recognize when things are going in a certain direction and certain people aren't at the table and have not had their voice heard. So, it's as you all know, it's a hard thing to completely mitigate some of the impact of construction. However, there has to be conversation with the community in terms of how that's going to be done, what sort of compensation there is for it, and negotiate with the community members.
Thank you.
Mr. Driggs?
Yes, indeed. Hey,
Hi.
What do you consider to be the most important measure of success for a transit system?
Trust. I think that, you know, as you know, I think you guys know, I supported the transit plan. And I really had to think about it because I really listened to what people said that didn't support it. And what I heard over and over is there's a lack of trust in our transit system. And that comes from, well, in my years on council, it was things like being told by former leaders that we had an app that worked, that told you when the bus was coming, that told you when the train was coming, and that didn't work. Bus stops, covered bus stops, benches, all these things that if you go back and you look at some of the Better Bus Plan, that Envision My Ride, all of these former plans that were promised and haven't been fulfilled. So I have felt for years that the only way to really have a successful transit and transportation program is to build trust. And that's going to really have to start with fixing the things that are broken now. And it goes beyond, and I said this to people, whether the tax passed or not, it still has to be addressed because things like people parking in bike lanes or, you know, cars not stopping for pedestrians and nothing's being enforced. And people are afraid to use the infrastructure and the transit that we put in place if there isn't enforcement, if there's not, you know, if people don't trust the system. So I think that's a huge one, and especially with regards to promises made in the past.
Thank you. My other question is, can you explain how you did or did not support the transit sales tax referendum?
So I did support it, but I did have to think about it because I was in a unique position to know what led up to the ultimate plan, right? It was different than the plan that we had a few years ago that I think everybody would have liked to have had. And so I talked to a lot of people that were involved in it, and I talked to a lot of people who had very strong feelings about it. And displacement, that was a big one, people feeling like their voices weren't heard. And I think that's all valid, but again, it also gets back to, if that tax hadn't passed, we'd still have a transit system. And you still have to build trust in it, and people still have to ride it, right? And feel good about riding it. And so, for me personally, I felt like whether it passes or not, that's still something that we all have to work on as a community, is to build trust in the system. So I don't think it's as easy as people felt it would be, that we could just let it fail and then go back to the drawing board and get it again. I think there's probably some people in Raleigh that would have been okay with it. And you know, we don't want to take that chance. We want to do it, but we have to make sure that we build trust in the system so that people are supportive of what ends up happening.
Thank you.
Julie, so I have the last one. Please describe your experience managing, overseeing the work of others.
I do feel that it's, again, very important to hear what everybody has to say. With regards to managing and overseeing, I think that's really what it boils down to for me, is that I might have my opinion, and as you know, I'm pretty outspoken on what my opinion is. It doesn't mean that it should invalidate other people's opinions. I think that this is a system that's going to be very complicated. And as you know, in an environment of social media, it doesn't take much to get a certain narrative out there. And so I do think that as many people as we can, that we give people a platform to be able to speak and to be able to address the concerns. Again, whether it's bus stops or whether it's simple things, you know, that, and not simple things like fare enforcement, things like that. You know, I don't, I'm not going to say yes to everybody, right? I mean, I will hold my opinions, but I do also think that, I do think I open myself up to hearing other people's opinions and allowing my mind to be changed based on experience, because that's really what it comes down to, is perception is reality for a lot of people. So, yeah, I mean, I've sat on boards and transit boards statewide and boards that have been attached to the work that we have done as a council, even outside of transit, that we're sort of getting plowed over in terms of what I felt like council wanted to do to begin with and why we set up certain things. And so I feel it's really important to speak out about it and to say, you know, with all due respect, I respect other people's opinions, but we also have to get back to why we are where we are and how we got here, and honor that process as well, which involves a lot of people.
Julie, thank you. Thank you for dropping by and sharing your skills with us.
Sure.
Yeah, it goes fast.
It does go fast, yeah.
So this work group, we have our work cut out. We'll be making recommendation to council on Monday, the 17th of November. We'll be making nomination the same night, and it is our goal that November 24th, we will have our 7 appointees
Okay.
approve and
Yeah.
move on to the authority. So stay tuned. I don't know if you want to come in person or you're going to stay home and watch us, but stay tuned on Monday night.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity. As you may know, I am pretty passionate about this because I think that this is an opportunity that we have, and you know, we want to make sure that it's done right so that the community believes that we're doing it for the sake of the community.
We're going to shake your hand and thank you.
Okay.
And thank you so much for dropping by and having a conversation with us today. We would like to ask you 5 questions. You have up to 3 minutes per question to answer. Ms. Stephanie Kelly is going to be your best friend. With 30 seconds remaining, she's going to flash up the card. Let me introduce some of my colleagues who actually have joined us virtually as well. From District 4, we have Councilmember Renee Johnson. From District 3, we have Councilmember Tijuana Brown. Now in the room, we've already introduced our new city attorney, and we have Mayor Pro Tem representing District 1, Dante Anderson. I love to say this, my left hand, Mr. Ed Driggs, representing District 7. And thank you. And on my right side is Councilmember LaWanda Mayfield, representing at large. Ms. Mayfield will start us off with the first 2 questions.
And you still have about a good minute and a half, because it's 6:58, we're tracking behind you. Ed, just want to make sure that you know to
Yeah, thank you.
click on. But we definitely want to be respectful, but we appreciate you offering yourself up to service to all of you in the community that offered yourself up, and for agreeing to be a part of this process.
Thank you.
This is the longest minute.
And I call myself being slow.
Right, this is, again, like I shared earlier, it's like when it's time for you to get off work and you just watching the clock, like, I can't log out just yet. This is the longest minute. It's like a kid, like, is it time yet? Is it time yet?
Yeah. Got an inquiry, go right ahead.
Really was the one thing I needed to make sure it was up. 6:59, okay. It is such a long, I'm like, turn to 7, turn to 7. Also, Councilmember Mitchell did mention that Clerk Kelly will give you the 30-second warning, but you get 3 minutes to up to 3 minutes to respond. So with that, the Transit Authority Board will oversee billions in public spending. How would you identify and handle potential conflicts of interest, whether they are real or perceived?
I think you handle conflicts of interest straight on. Have tough conversations, hard conversations with all of those involved and engaged, and then do investigation to find the truth of the matter, not as an individual, but collectively, to do the hard work and bring as many experts in so that we have an equitable and trustworthy process.
Thank you very much for that response. My second question. Please describe how you intend to mitigate displacement as a member of the authority.
I believe we do not repeat ourselves from a historical standpoint in this great city. This needs to be a priority, particularly throughout the nation. The displacement generally falls in Black and brown communities. And because there was such tension pertaining to this 1% tax, I will work collaboratively with my colleagues if chosen, but I'd also work in our community, the business community, the faith community, the civic community, and all 7 districts, so that we are being transparent, we're being open, but most importantly, that we're listening to the people. And at the end of the day, it is my hope that we will minimize displacement. Unfortunately, when you do something new like this, there will be some. But I believe that between all the agencies in the city, we can be creative and intentionally and do the hard work to minimize displacement throughout the city.
Thank you.
Stephanie, the next 2 questions will be asked by my colleague, Mr. Ed Driggs.
What do you consider to be the most important measure of success for a transit system?
Number one, I believe the most important thing in this season right now is to build trust again in this city. Because it won't be successful if the people who ride, the people who invest, which are all the taxpayers, feel like they're being heard and seen. So trustworthiness is number one. And if we build something that the public square says, we were included in this process, the ridership will be up, the economic development of it will create space and place in every single neighborhood where there is hope for prosperity and being able to have businesses and vitality and thriving in all 7 areas of this city.
Thank you. My next question is, can you explain how you did or did not support the transit sales tax referendum?
Yes, I supported it. When I was an executive with Marriott Corporation, I was the operations manager for this corporation at the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. I was the general manager at the Little Rock National Airport and project manager up and down from Florida to New York City. So I understand it, and so I would work diligently, collaboratively with the agency as well as the community, because if you don't have community buy-in, if you're not engaged along with city council, if it means that we have to submit things on a day-to-day basis, then that's what we need to do. If we need to do it monthly, weekly, then that's what we need to do. We need to do the hard work so that we have the state-of-the-art transit system in this city, the 15th largest city in the country. Why not have, since we're building it, to have the #1 transit system that other cities look at and come to us to say, how did you all do that? And we will be able to share with other cities throughout our country.
Thank you.
Stephanie, so I have the last question for you. Please describe your experience managing and overseeing the work of others.
So I was a young executive with Marriott Corporation, where I oversaw 500 employees, 100 direct reports with a $75 million net profitability, as well as DBE in partnership with the City of Charlotte. I also, in my present role as a United Methodist clergy, we have 86 faith communities in the Metro District, 965 throughout Western North Carolina, and I serve in those capacities in Western North Carolina as well as throughout the nation. And I've served as a delegate through our general agency, which is we're a global church with about a $600 million budget. And so I help with policy, financial stability, understanding where allocations are. In the airport industry as executive, I ensured that net profitability was the object of what we were called to do. Year over year over year, we were profitable in our industry and actually exceeded it double-digit numbers year after year. How do you do that? You listen to your employees, you equip them, you set up goals and strategies, and then you implement them. And when you make mistakes, you say, we made a mistake, let's get back and get the work done. So I believe when you're a collaborative leader that brings people together to have hard conversations, then you will get the results greater than you can even anticipate.
Stephanie, thank you. Thank you for taking the time and joining us this evening. The work group will make recommendations to the full council on Saturday, and then on Monday, November 17th, we will start our nomination process, and it is our goal that November 24th, we will have 7 applicants to represent us on the authority. So we thank you so much, and we want to come and hug you in your nice pink outfit.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Gerald, you going up tomorrow?
No.
So we got a home game tomorrow. We're on TV, but the game's
5
at
o'clock.
5 o'clock.
5:30, actually.
I can make
5:30
that,
kickoff.
because we're gonna be finished up by, what time we finish tomorrow, 12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I left at 2:30. No, that's true. Oh, look, and then I'm going to the basketball game. I do have tickets,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's kind of tough.
Gerald, thank you, sir, for dropping by and offering yourself to serve on authority. We're going to ask you 5 questions.
Okay.
And then you have 3 minutes per question to answer. Stephanie Kelly is going to be your favorite friend.
Okay.
There's 30 seconds remaining. She will flash up the card. Let me introduce all the colleagues, city council members that are here. We have 2 who are virtual. Representing District 4 is Councilmember Nate Johnson. Representing District 3 is Councilmember Tijuana Brown. And then in the room, we have Representative District 1 and Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson. You have the best 2 council members before you. My colleague A. Driggs, representing District 7, and myself. Councilmember LaWanda Mayfield had a very important engagement she had made prior. I'm sorry she's not here to join us, but, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna answer, I'm gonna ask you the first 2 questions.
So should we wait
Oh,
until
let me wait, yeah.
7:30?
Thank you, sir.
We need to start at exactly 7:30 in
7:30.
case anybody
Yeah.
tunes in and wants to hear the questions. It's
Okay.
slightly early still,
Right.
so we're going to wait
Okay, no
for a
problem.
minute.
Thank you, Ed. So you would join us virtually in the morning? Okay, okay. So, wait a minute, Stephanie, what time we start on Saturday? I thought Saturday. 9:30. Oh, 9:30 on Saturday, new schedule. Oh, I can go to the
Well-
game Friday night then.
Yeah, you can make late.
Yeah, we start at 9:30 on Saturday. Oh, yeah, I'm good. I can go
Yeah,
to-
we don't have anybody.
Yeah, I can go to the game. Okay, I was worried there.
Mhm.
Say 8 o'clock, well, my body would not move that fast. But I could do 9:30.
So we have to get here early for breakfast tomorrow, right?
Yeah, because it's not
8
showtime
o'clock,
tomorrow at 8,
yeah.
so we probably need to be about 7:30.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you, Pro Tem. So Gerald, let me start off by asking you 2 questions. The first one is, the Transit Authority Board will oversee billions in public spending. How would you identify and handle a political, oh my gosh, let me rephrase that. How will you handle a potential conflict of interest, whether real or perceived? Do I need to repeat that for you?
Well, in what context are you referencing as far as?
If you become a member of the authority, and how would you identify and handle a potential conflict of interest, whether it's real or perceived?
So, I don't know if you probably have access to the application process. I retired from the United States Probation Office 4 years ago. My entire career has been in the judicial system, first with the state of North Carolina as a state probation officer for 5 years, and 26 years of service with the federal courts. One of the paramount things of working in the judicial system is always avoid the appearance of impropriety. Throughout my career, I've been very vigilant in that regard. By me being a native Charlottean, oftentimes I'm going to encounter people that or deal with cases that I've had some direct contact personally with individuals, and I've always been able to resolve that by going to my immediate superiors, advising them of the conflict in order not to bring any undue attention to the agency, to my family, and to the courts. So that's something that I've pretty much lived my entire professional career and existence on that very philosophy. I think it's always safe to just always be mindful of who you're employed by. You're not representing just yourself, you're representing, the United States in regards to my former employment, and then the state of North Carolina when I was with the state.
Thank you, sir. Here's my next question. Please describe how you intend to mitigate displacement as a member of the authority?
And I know this may be a little bit broad in thinking, but I think it's really about collaborating with the North Carolina General Assembly and the legislators. I think it's really time to have a conversation where we start grandfathering in these legacy homeowners to prevent displacement, allow them to remain at the current tax base before gentrification and growth occurs that oftentimes forces them out of their homes into other situations where they're struggling from that point forward because the money that they may receive for their property, they won't be able to transition to the same quality of life in another side of town. So I think it's really that time. I know that the whole transportation referendum was a bipartisan effort. I think it's time to have that conversation to prevent some type of displacement and not just limit it to the local level. It's a national problem, and I think we need to come up with solutions to address that. The other thing, I think we need to educate heirs that are left with homes. They oftentimes receive the calls, hey, I'll buy your property. Educate them on the value of their homes. A lot of times they don't understand the true value or look at other options with retaining the homes, what they could do. You know, rent if you don't have no desire to remain there. Lease options, you know, various things that they can do to use those properties as a form of income or investment for their heirs. So I think we need to do a better job in educating those individuals in those marginalized communities that may be impacted by fast growth and development.
Thank you, sir. The next two questions are going to come from my colleague, Ed Driggs.
Good evening.
Good evening.
What do you consider to be the most important measure of success for a transit system?
Feedback from the community. I think it's important to bring everyone to the table and get both sides of any issue, see what the desired needs are for that community. I think that's going to be the biggest test for the city of Charlotte, just to see if we can get the buy-in. It's just like anything new that you implement. You have to convince others. You have to get that buy-in. We may think that the referendum ended with the buy-in. I don't think it stops there. I think this is going to be a continuation. You're going to have to continue to promote what the build-out is going to look like. You're going to have to continue to engage the community and get their input as it progresses. Since this is going to be a 30-year plan, things are going to change over that 30-year period. Things change from day to day, year to year. So I think we're going to have to bring everyone to the table and get their feedback to determine whether or not what we're doing is successful. I think anything you do, you have to be strategic in what you're doing. It should be intentional and strategic. And you can only be that way if you know what the needs of the community are and what they desire and what they determine to be successful. My impression or my opinion of something successful may be entirely different from the rest of you. Mine may be small, others it may be something large or long-term, but I think we can't negate the small things that people may value the most, and not, it's easy to look way down the road for the big end game, but if we try to focus on the small wins initially, I think we'll create that buy-in. Just get people to focus on what can we do right now on the small things, and we're making progress a little bit at a time. There's a reason why we have steps in the building. You can't go from the bottom to the top. There's a reason, there's something to be learned at each level as you progress along. So I think that's how this should be built out. Just take it one step at a time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
My other question is, can you explain how you did or did not support the transit sales tax referendum?
My community as a whole, I'm a member of the Four Seasons Homeowner Association in East Charlotte, and we were getting a lot of inquiry about the transportation tax in the referendum. We actually put together a forum the week prior to the election at our clubhouse. We invited everyone from the community to come out, and we had representatives representing both sides of the table, which was, and this is no criticism, which was missing. And I think that's important to make a decision, at least it was for me, because from the start when it was rolled out, I've been up, I've been down, I've been all over because I learned more as I continued to attend various forums, and particularly the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum was awesome opportunity to get to engage other people in the community about both sides of the issue. And that's what we did personally. We had representatives, we had David Howard, Tanya Jamison representing the yes side, and then we had Bobby Drakeford and Ismail Kayem representing the no side of the vote. So we were able to bring everyone together, and the individuals that attended, they were able to see both sides, and they got an understanding of, you know, it's not a perfect plan, but there are pieces, you know, that each side brought up that could be somehow integrated to make this a viable plan. Nothing's perfect, but you can bring in information from both sides to come to some common ground and push the initiatives forward. And I think that's a lot of what we face in our society, that we want to draw a line in the sand and stay with our prospective teams, but sometimes you just have to do what's best for the greater good.
So Gerald, I have the last one. Please describe your experience managing, overseeing the work of others.
Before I retire, I don't know how many of you are familiar with location monitoring programs. The city CMPD has a program that they utilize for high-risk offenders in order to allow them to be released on a bond. They place a bracelet on their ankle. We have a similar program within the federal system, but we saw a need to specialize. Myself and another senior officer put together a plan to present to management to come up with a specialized unit for location monitoring. The purpose of it was to streamline the process, to only have specialists deal with the certain demographics of the population. And that required us presenting, you know, doing budgetary constraints, doing a lot of research on the individuals that we would be supervising in the community, seeing how it would impact our agency positively or negatively. Would it reduce the workload on others? Would it be an effective tool for the court? It took us a while to come up with that proposal. We did submit it to our administration. They adopted the program. We created a location monitoring team, which I was appointed as the officer in charge over that program. I reported directly to the administration as well as the judicial courts on any initiatives that we would implement. We trained the courtroom staff on the legality of utilizing the location monitoring program because every person wasn't eligible for the program. We educated them on when it was appropriate to use it as a sentencing option as well. And I managed that entire location monitoring team. That was one of the initiatives I rolled out. The second thing, I served as chair of our diversity and inclusion program for a number of years, and was part of the leadership team where I was involved in the hiring of new officers.
Gerald, thank you, sir, for taking the time. Let me just kind of explain to you kind of the next step. The work group will make a recommendation to City Council starting on Saturday, and then on Monday, November 17th, we will start voting. And then November 24th, it is our goal to have all 7 of our appointees approved and ready to present and represent us as part of the Transit Authority. So please stay tuned for Monday. Monday's a big day, and I really appreciate you dropping by. We're going to come around and shake your hand.
Okay. Thank you.